man, Charles Barkley. This is a headline. He left $100 million at least on the table to stay at Turner. What? There's such a conversation to be had about, one, what kind of man is that high character to say, I'm looking out for y'all, so I'm going to do this for you, for us. That's insane. But there's another level of this conversation of guys who played the game and got paid more to talk the game. That's insane. You're Charles Barkley. Have y'all forgotten who Charles Barkley was on the basketball court? I mean, dude, right? Top 20 all time. Y'all go in there with me? Barkley was a man. And now he's making more just talking about it. Oh, let's let him break it down. Let's hear him talk it through.
That's what's going to be fascinating. Like, what do you guys think about doing this next year? And we're going to look at each other like, okay. So, like I say, man, it's a very fascinating situation. But the number one thing for me is my people at Turner get to keep their jobs for at least another year. That's all I was concerned with.
Charles, how much money do you think that you left on the table in making that decision concerned about others?
A minimum of $100 million.
Jeez.
A minimum.
Man.
Yeah, because I imagine it was a lot of fun to be you recently, right? In free agency, that had to feel good, even as you're thinking to yourself in these meetings, because I talked to you a little bit at least. You're like, I'm not.
Yeah, 100%. It was a great feeling. And I want to thank all those networks for reaching out to me. It was really humbling and cool. It was humbling and cool. And so I really, it was really humbling and cool, to be honest with you. But okay. I wasn't even like I said, Dan, even though they were throwing crazy numbers, I was like, damn. Yeah, but as long as I got my people safe at TNT, man, I feel really good. Like I say, they're going to pay me to go and talk about nothing, so I can't look a give horse in the mouth.
Before we
Hey, Dan, I probably would have had to do an honest day's work if I went to one of those other networks.
Not here, though, Charles. I mean,
not at Metal Arc Media.
Like
you would not have to do an honest day's work.
Man, that is funny. That is a running joke with him. And he's not lying. Like, you go to different networks and there's going to be a different expectation about how you're going to work. He knows that. Let's talk about the first part. $100 million left on the table when you have opportunities and options like that, like Charles Barkley did. And he decides to take that haircut. What makes you take that haircut? Because you read about it a lot, but what's going through your mindset when you're like, nah, I don't need all that. So, you know, I'm from the bottom, welfare, food stamps. These are the stripes that I wish I didn't wear, but then my therapist's like, no, you wouldn't be who you are if you didn't wear those stripes and you went through those conditions. So yeah, I grew up broke, whatever that is, you know? And I would say one thing about money, and you guys tell me if I'm on to it as well. When you don't have it, it is way more to you than when you do have it. Because when you do have it, you realize it's real value. And its real value isn't to buy you any and everything, right? It's to give you access to things, but then it also comes healthy with restrictions, right? And those restrictions are, you still got to be mindful. Like if you get $1 million, please don't walk around this planet thinking you can do whatever you want. You can't. One thing, somebody tapping you on the shoulder, you're like, what, fool? Who this big old dude? Oh, you my uncle? Uncle Sam? I ain't never met you. You're like, oh, I'm always with you, baby. I'm always right behind you, 39% in it, or whatever it may be. You can't do it all, right? And it's weird because I grew up thinking money was going to solve so many problems. I didn't say all my problems. No one says that, but you say a lot. I'm going to get my mama a house, I'm going to get my daddy that, and I'm going to get my sister that, and I'm going to get this, and then, oh, man, my girl. Okay, and you ain't even talked about the issues that come with the money, right? So Puffy said, more money, more problems. Biggie said, more money, more problems. We listened. We heard it. We believe it. But then there's a certain point where you get to where it does get you to a cruising altitude. Let's say that, 30,000 feet. You're there. I don't know what that number is because it's different for everybody. It truly is. Some people have households. I know a guy that his household, like his his yearly nut, as they call it, is in the millions. It costs millions for him to just be. Because he got security, got staff, the big old houses, everywhere you go, it's just silly. Like, it can go as far as you want it to go. But there is a cruising altitude where you're like, I'm good. And somebody's like, oh, but I could take you higher. No, I'm good. And Charles Barkley was just cruising at that altitude, worked so hard, dual career, just a star, and was like, I'm good. Now, I'm going to share this with everybody else on this flight. I'm going to share this with all the other passengers who's taking this ride with me. That's amazing, man. I ain't never thought like that. I ain't been on a team yet where I'm like, oh, yeah, nah. I look out for staff and all that stuff. I ain't going to lie. But teammates, you better get it with your muscle, fool. You better make some more hits. You better talk some more talk. Forget y'all. All right, so the other part that I thought was fascinating was that Charles Barkley had that level of career. Like, name somebody who had that level of career and then backed it up with another level of that career. Magic Johnson in business. Michael Jordan in business. Like, look at this short list. This is a Mount Rushmore. Who else? Go. Who else? Who else you gonna put with Barkley in terms of dual career? Goodness. He got quiet, beat it up in the comments. Salute to Charles Barkley to reach that level of height in one thing, basketball, which you're known for, the round mound, a rebound, and then just talking it. And not talking it the way that everybody said you were supposed to talk it. Charles Barkley, he did it his way until it was the way. That's amazing, man. Salute to Charles. Hey, Chuck, you coming out to that Chargers game? He said he was. We're going to go see if he going to come. Let's go get it.